Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth album and song reviews, as well as artist interviews and general rap commentary sprinkled in between on all of what the mainstream and underground rap scenes have to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. What is up, family? Today I'm here to talk about another YUNGMORPHEUS album, second review of his that I'm doing within the past month or so. He just recently dropped a collaborative project with producer Ewonee titled Thumbing Thru Foliage, and I'm here to tell you all about it. So YUNGMORPHEUS is a LA rapper who has been upping his profile over the years, making music either directly alongside or in the same kind of creative space as artists like Fly Anakin, Pink Saifu. The former, who he dropped a collaborative project with Bag Talk, which I do recommend you check out, which was released in 2020. And just recently in 2021, in January, he dropped States of Precarity, which I did review in episode 33 of the podcast, which I definitely did like. And then on the production side of this duo, Ewonee is someone that I'm not familiar with too much when it comes to their own solo or collaborative projects, but I am familiar with a lot of the production credits that he's had over the past few years with artists like I just mentioned in the Pink Saifu, the Anakins, the Concept Jacksons, that crew. And overall, I definitely appreciate his sound and what he brings to the table. So YUNGMORPHEUS and Ewonee teamed up to drop Thumbing Thru Foliage, a project I was anticipating mainly because I wanted to see if Morph displayed the artistic growth I was hoping for since his very recent album in States of Precarity. But also, as a great producer himself, I was curious to see how a YUNGMORPHEUS album would sound without him touching the production at all, instead leaving it to Ewonee. And as an aside, rappers who can produce as well as morph, allowing other artists to produce entire projects for them, is something I can really respect. It must take a lot of ego control and humility to understand when maybe another person's artistic vision and hands on the production may be what's best for the given set of songs that are trying to be created. I think the end result, though, was very good, as Ewonee's groove-heavy sound and sample choices fit Morph's sound really well. There is a serious sense of groove found throughout these instrumentals, giving me a lot to nod my head to. Beefy bass lines that are funky are found all throughout this project that creates a really effortless sense of pace and momentum to most of these tracks. There are some great drums throughout as well. I particularly loved the drums on Harlem Heat that sounded really nice and crispy, and the thunderous sub bass on Jakob's Worst Nightmare was really nice as well. I really like the samples and sound choices that Ewonee executed on this album. There's often nice soulful samples, nice classy touches of jazz, all flowing into one another with a lot of cohesion and fluidity, all while maintaining a driving sense of momentum that propels this record through its 30-minute runtime, making it fly by really fast. Cursive copybooks is another highlight, with these really climactic strings dominating the production that surrounds Morph's voice and his bars really well, really gives a nice air of drama to that track. And now moving to Morph's rapping, I'm not sure if it's a result of Morph solely focusing on the rapping this time, or if it's just a natural progression in his artistic development, but I think Morph's rapping here is the best it's ever been. Young Morpheus hasn't completely switched up his approach to rapping by any stretch. The slow flows delivered with a tangible feeling of disgust from his voice as he waxes poetic about police brutality and racism are all still very much there. But now there is more variety in his delivery. It's more energetic, just slightly, and rhythmic than I've ever heard it. Morph finds himself in a really dope pocket on these beats, feeding off the groove-heavy production. The intro shows off a great funky groove for Morph to perfectly ride and starts the album off on a great note. Middle passage shows off a catchy boom bap rhythm with a nice ethereal vocal sample in the background. And on this track, Morph makes it a standout as his ultra calm but urgent rapping delivery is spotlighted so nicely. Harbor Boulevard shows Morph rhyme off violent and serious imagery with an almost callous indifference to what he's saying that I think really works, especially given some of the funny moments in the lyrics too. This mix of sometimes dark and dry humor or dry delivery and the severely blunt imagery in Morph's lyrics make for a really good combination. And unlike States of Precarity, where I did find that he sometimes faded too much into the background of some of the tracks, I think on here, I find his presence is felt stronger and the album is more impactful for it. Similar to all of Young Morpheus's work in the past, he explores themes of racism and corruption, crooked policing. But unlike his previous work, I think the lyrical content is being explored in a more immediate and impactful way. The lyrical content on these subjects are more clear and slightly more descriptive, which I did appreciate. But I still think that this is the key area of growth that I'm still awaiting Morph to fully show. Although I am seeing some more deeper exploration into these topics, I'm still hoping his lyrics get even more poignant and in-depth than what is presented here. Because now that his delivery has gotten more urgent on this album and his flow is in pocket even more than ever, I think just a bit more depth and clarity, to be specific, clarity in the subject matter would put his music over the top. Being able to really concretely take away a message or take away a point of view from Young Morpheus is the missing piece, I think, on this album that I'm still hoping to see Morph show on future projects. To sum up my thoughts on this project, I think the styles of Ewonee and Morph were a great pairing on Thumbing Through the Foliage, which I feel is a bit of a step up from States of Precarity and a few tweaks and improvements away from being something truly amazing. Morph is clearly on a strong path though. Seeing him improve on each of his past releases from Bag Talk to now, and has established himself as one of the stronger voices in the underground, with a knack for bottling up the anger and disdain that many folks feel towards our fucked up society. So my final verdict on this project, Thumbing Through the Foliage by Ewonee and Young Morpheus, it's a solid mid-7 on 10. So this concludes today's episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV. I hope this episode gave you some fresh new perspectives on the latest rap releases, as well as a recommendation for the next great rap record to add to your collection. But now that I've spoken, it's your turn to have your voice heard. So let's stay in touch. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Rohview, ROHVIEW, to connect with me on a personal level, where you'll be able to interact with my thoughts and perspectives on music, surely, but also on politics and sports as well. If you're an artist who wants to get their new song or album reviewed on the show, hit me up via email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com or just send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. I would love to give you public feedback through a review or private feedback if that's what you'd prefer. I would love to be a part of helping you grow as an artist, to help the show grow and ensure that everyone's listening to the best rap music at all times. Make sure you leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts so that the show can be spotlighted by that wonderful algorithm and be exposed to more people. For exclusive content and updates related to the show, follow the Rap Music Plug podcast on Facebook. You can find all of this information along with exclusive playlists created by myself by clicking the link that's in the episode's notes. So that's all for today. Talk to you soon. Peace.